Mike Owens here. Today I'm joined by Angela Hill, who returns to action this Saturday, facing Luana Pinheiro. Angela, great to sit down and chat. How are things with you today?
I'm good. I'm good. How you doing?
I'm very well. First question before we get started. I know you were over on my side of the world a couple of weeks ago. You did some commentary for Cage Warriors Glasgow. What was that
Yeah,
experience like?
it was fun. It was fun. I had a lot of fun going out there. I was out there for like a week. We got a lot of good training and then visited family. My husband's Scottish, so we got to check that off the list to kill two birds with one stone. But it was a lot of fun being out there. I got to meet a lot of fighters, a lot of different coaches and people on that side of the world. And it's cool seeing Cage Warriors where it began because it's still pretty new in San
Mm.
Diego. So I know all the fighters on the San Diego cards pretty much, but going over there, you see a lot of people who are pretty well established, who've been in Cage Warriors for like 6, 7 years, and it's cool to see the history there.
Um, you seem to be very, very good at the commentary gig, I must say. Has that always been a goal of yours?
Oh, thank you. There's my Scottish husband bringing me stuff. Yeah, I'd love to do that in the future. I just try to get better every time that I do it. The more
Mm.
you do it, the easier it is, but it's still hard to listen to a fight that I commentated on and not cringe. So every time I have to do that, I take little mental notes like, okay, this time do this, do this, do this. But I really enjoy it. I like telling people stories. I like being a good example for the women out there that are trying to do it. I feel like I know enough where I can say something and not be absolutely wrong
Mm.
and not offend, the MMA experts on their couches. So I think it would be a fun thing to do in the future.
100%. Well, as I mentioned at the start, you obviously make your return Saturday night. You return also to the Apex. Now I had a little bit of a look at your recent form, and over your last five fights, the three fights that you won were in front of a crowd, and the two fights that you didn't win were in the Apex. So my question is there a benefit to fighting in front of a crowd and maybe a drawback to fighting in the Apex? What are your overall emotions fighting behind closed doors?
I'm trying not to say I hate the Apex, but definitely not good memories there. But you know, uh, there was a few times I fought um at the Apex and I felt like I won.
Mm.
So I think it just comes down to um my mental prep. I've been working on that, working on what to do if I don't have the hype of the crowd to get my energy up because it definitely draws from that. Like if I throw a punch and I hear everyone go ooh, it's almost better than my coaches saying ooh, like I hear like thousands of people going
Mm.
ooh, that looked good, then I'm gonna do it again. And I think that's the tough part in the Apex with no crowd. It's almost like you're sparring. You're fighting and they're trying to kill you, but at the same time you get off to a slow start. So I think it's just like for this fight, I've just been working on my mental prep, making sure I do everything I need to do to be just as excited going out there as I would be if I had a crowd booing or cheering me.
Mm.
And hopefully this time I get that win there, break the curse.
100%, 100%. I was talking about training and preparation. I saw a photo on your Instagram a couple of days ago. I know that you spend a lot of time in the training room with Jessica Penny you spend a lot of time with Jessica because I know you do the podcast together as well. But I saw you the photo
Yeah.
with Kat Zingano and Corey McKenna. So what has the overall vibe been like for this camp as you get yourself prepared for the next fight?
It's been good. A lot of girls have been away for most of the camp. So I think the beginning of the camp, just because of like everyone fought
Mm.
and then take a break. Beginning of the camp, I only had a couple of training partners. But once I got towards the end, a lot of people started coming back through. Jess just got back cleared for training. Same with Corey McKenna. She just got back from her fight and came down to visit and help me out for my last couple of
Mm.
weeks. And Kat too, she's been kind of in the in the purgatory of the PFL Bellator takeover.
Mm,
So she's just been chilling, and she came back through to give me some help too. So I feel like I have a huge army behind me, like a big girl army
mm.
when it comes to training partners and friends. And I've had a lot of good coaching to this camp. We've just been focused on doing what I do well, and not so much what the other girl does well. We have a bunch of answers for that, but we've really just been focusing on making everything that I do tighter and more dangerous.
I was going to ask about that as we kind of move on to the upcoming fight. As I mentioned, you're facing Luana Pinheiro Saturday night. Give me your overall scouting report of your next opponent. What do you think she does well, and where are potential areas you're looking to exploit?
Well, I actually got to train with her before we got matched. It was
Oh,
weird. She was looking to, I guess, move, and she came through to one of my coach's sessions, Justin Flores,
mm,
and he's kind of like a I guess like a, what do you call it when you do, what do you call it when you a freelancer. He's kind of like a
freelancer.
freelancer where he'll teach anyone anything, you know.
Mm,
So he hit me up and he was like, "Oh, this girl's coming through." I was like, "Oh, cool, we might fight." And so we trained together, and she was cool. And I was like, "Yeah, if you ever want to come to San Diego, let me know." And then we got matched to fight. So it kind of sucks when it happens, but she's she's a really good judo girl. I don't know much about her ground game because there isn't much tape on it,
mm,
but I know she goes when the fight starts. Like as soon as the bell rings, she's gone. So
mm,
that's gonna be another thing that can get me in the zone right away. Like I know if I get hit, then I'm like, oh, okay, I'm in a fight, and I'm throwing back.
mm.
So usually, if I get like I don't know, if I get clocked earlier on, then I have a pretty exciting fight. So yeah, I think it's gonna be one of those where we're both gonna go after it in the very early stages of the fight, and we'll just see who lasts.
You mentioned there about training together. I don't even know if that's public knowledge. I haven't heard that before, but I'm wondering, has that happened before in your career? And if so, do you have any kind of memories of fighting with other people and what that whole, or training with people who you then went on to fight, and what are those kind of experiences like?
Not really since tough, but I mean,
Mm,
I it was one session, so I don't really consider it
true,
training
true.
together. But in tough, basically everyone in the strawweight division, we touched each other at some point. We either
Mm,
lived together or trained together. So I think that was a little more intense just because you really knew these people personally. You knew about their like hopes and dreams and the children and their, their
mm,
family. And then you got to punch them in the face. It kind of takes the fun out of it. You
mm,
like to imagine that you're beating up some bad guy in a video game or something, and and then
mm.
you get to reap the glory afterwards, and not think about the fact that they're working just as hard as you. They're human just like you. So I don't like it, but when it came to this fight, I didn't really have a personal connection with her. And I told her, like, whatever happens, we can still train together once you get to San Diego. Like, this is business. I can't turn down any fights because, the UFC doesn't really allow that unless you're in the gym grinding with each other every day.
Mm.
So yeah, I was just like, hey, we got to do it. So let's put on a show.
Do you plan to throw any wheel kicks this fight? Because obviously that was how your opponent's last fight ended. Is that on the agenda?
I mean, I'm not good at them. I was like, oh, this person threw a cartwheel kick. Can you do that? Like, nah, not really. But we know that her cardio hasn't been the best in her last fights, but you got to get her there. You got
Mm,
to make her work. And I think when it comes to cardio, I'm definitely going to be the person with the better cardio.
mm.
I was trying to say something more slick, but I couldn't think of the word. But yeah, when it comes to cardio, I'm gonna be the one on top. So yeah, it would be great to just drag her into deep water and really be able to showcase how long I can go, how long I can strike hard. And if she's been working on that cardio, great, I'll be ready for that too.
Um, Obviously that you're ranked number 12 in the division. Pinheiro's got that number 9 ranking next to her name. What do you think a win does for you in this fight?
I don't think about it anymore. Like anytime I focus on that, I get frustrated, and
Mm,
it really is a popularity contest. Like Lupi's ranked ahead of me, and I'm the last person that beat her. So or not the last person, but
recently.
one of the people that beat her, and anyone she's fought ranked higher than me, she's lost to. So it's frustrating to think about it too closely. I just have to put on a show and um prove the spot that I deserve, and we'll see if they give it to me after a win. Like after my last win, I went down in the rankings for some reason. So it they don't care
Mm,
about where I am, to whoever is doing board of uh that board of like invisible people. um
mm.
I've never benefited from the rankings, so I try not to focus on it.
Do you think about it? You just said about then you're not focused on it, so I feel like I might have my answer to this question. But do you allow yourself to kind of do you think about it in those terms? Like because I suppose to an extent, I spoke to a lot of fighters, and some have said to me, once you get to that top 15, you have to be more strategic about what's next and what the kind of plan your next move to get up those rankings. Do you allow yourself to think about that, or do you just treat it one fight at a time?
I don't really feel like I have the luxury of waiting. And that's what
Mm,
happens if you choose not to fight someone, you have to
mm.
wait.
Yeah.
So I don't like doing that. Like I prefer getting in there, making money. Win, lose, or draw, I feel like my stock goes up every time I fight. So that's really the goal every time I get out there, is to put on a show, remind the UFC why they hired me in the first place, why they keep me around. And I've been in the top 15 for a while, and I've just been kind of hanging out there. Win or lose, I'll have a close fight with someone who's top 10, I'll stay down in the 15. I'll beat someone who's top 10, I'll stay down in the 15.
Mm,
So it's like at this point, after however many fights I've had, how long are you gonna let this thing take your energy,
mm,
take your uh, ability to put value on yourself.
yeah.
Like I just have to not focus on it, and just go out there and be the number one ranked fighter I know I am. So that's all it is for me. I don't strategize, I just get out there and do my job.
Last one from me on this subject, and I feel like I've got your answer to this question. But at this stage of your career, and with as many fights that you've had and all that you've done at 115, have the goals changed, or is the ultimate goal still to wear that world championship belt someday?
Oh yeah, the goal is always to get the championship belt. Like when I watch the champs fight, when I watch the contenders fight for the belt, I see myself there. I see myself winning against anyone. It's just a matter of getting there, getting that opportunity. I feel like I fought a lot of tougher people on my way up than a lot of the champs have had to, just because you get lucky with the matchups. Maybe they strategized, maybe they didn't, but you get a couple good finishes and you're right. Oh.
Wait to serve us as part of the interview. I love it.
I know. He loves it. Yeah, you get a couple good finishes, and that's you in a championship fight. So that's really been the focus, is to try to get closer to getting finishes, whether it's on the ground or on the feet. And I've had so many fights, it sucks that people have a lot of tape on me, so they're able to strategize against me, but I just have to keep coming up with new stuff. So that's why I stay in the gym. I'm always thinking of new tricks and new little things that I like to do. And I've started grappling more in my fights. I've been grappling more in the gym forever, but finally doing it in my fights. So I think that gives them a little more work to do when it comes to strategizing. And yeah, I feel like I've gotten pretty dangerous everywhere. So ultimate goal, start getting finishes. Hopefully that happens this time. If not, just dominate in the cage, and the more wins I get together, the more likely I get the chance to fight for the belt.
Speaking of the belt, obviously that was on the line last month when Zhang defended against Yan Xiaonan. What was your opinion on UFC 300 main event?
I thought I thought Whaley looked a little afraid to strike. I know the fight was easier on the ground for her, and so that's why she was beelining it to that. But I felt like when she was on the feet, she was getting hit a lot more than she usually does. Uh yeah, even though it was a dominant performance, it was obvious who won to me.
Mm,
I think she showed that she was a little bit more frail on the feet these days than she used to be. Like
mm,
she's been in a ton of wars, so eventually that gets to you. I think the similar thing happens to me. Like
mm,
I used to be able to take everything on the chin, and now I'm like, okay, let's move your head a little bit. So. So
mm.
eventually you start to that damage starts to add up. So I think you could see that in that fight, even though she still got the win. And I'm curious what her next matchup's going to be, if she's going to get a striker, if she's going to get someone like Suarez or someone who's like really nasty on the ground. And yeah, we'll see how long she can hold on to that belt. I think her grappling's gotten pretty sick though. Um, it didn't look as dominant this fight as it did in the Carla one, but it's still something to be impressed by. So yeah, good job on the champ, and we'll see what happens next for her.
100%. A couple of questions ago, you mentioned about getting finishes, so I want to bring you back to UFC 300 and Max's KO over Justin Gaethje because there's a lot of debate at the moment. Is it the greatest knockout in UFC history? So, when I got you on today, I wanted to get your opinion as someone with your striking technique. Is it the best knockout in UFC history? And if not, what is in your opinion?
Ah, that was insane. That was a great knockout. I don't have a list of best
Mm,
knockouts, but but that's definitely up there.
mm,
There's who was it? I forget who it was who knocked him out, but there's that Pat Barry one that always goes viral every
mm.
like 2 years
Check
where
Congo.
yeah, Czech Congo,
Mm,
yeah. And he almost has him out and then he comes back and gets him. But I don't know if that's like best knockout because of uh just him surviving,
mm,
but I think with Max it was really epic because he had to fight in the bag. Maybe he didn't know it, maybe he did, but he had to fight in the bag. He still wanted to put on the show. He did the point thing that he did
mm,
years ago. And then I remember thinking, man, he did that and then nothing happened. And then this time it did the exact opposite. He flattened him, and it was the perfect guy to do it with too. So I think you got to give some credit to his dance partner, but it was definitely the best KO in my recent memory.
I feel like there's a lot that goes into a knockout in terms of what makes it great. Like there's some people say it's the way the opponent falls. Some people say it's the context of the fight. Is it super early or super late or are you down on the cards? So for you
Yeah.
personally, what do you think makes a great knockout?
The fall definitely does something. Like we kept seeing that Buckley knockout
Mm,
over Impa
mm,
last night. And that thing, like I didn't even realize, but the way he fell just was so dramatic
mm,
that it sticks in your mind. There's like the who's it? Mariah's knockout of Aljo.
mm.
Was it
Yeah,
in where he
yeah,
dabbed? It was that one. That
yeah.
one was pretty crazy too. It's just like, the devastation of a knockout is so nasty, and the fact that their eyes are rolling in the back of their head and they can't move and they're basically you look dead for a second. It's really gross.
Mm.
So yeah, I don't know. I think circumstance for me, circumstance and technique are what really give you like, oh yeah, that was a great knockout. Like Max had already fought a full fight
Mm.
and he decided right then and there, hey, we're gonna throw down, and Gaethje agreed to do that, and then he dropped him like that. I think that all those circumstances combined, and there was technique there too. I know some people were
Yeah.
saying they looked like they were in a bar brawl. but the way that Max was weaving and the
Mm,
angles that he was able to hit, as opposed to Gaethje. A lot of people have been trying to do it since UFC 300, and it didn't look like that
mm,
because they're just hitting elbows and hitting shoulders. But he was able to find the openings with the angles that he was
mm,
hitting and the way that he was moving his torso. So there's a lot of technique in that little brawl that he did. He wasn't
mm.
just throwing.
100%. Turning the conversation back to your fight, I've got a couple more for you, then I'll let you get to your breakfast. What I'd like to know is, in a perfect world, what happens next Saturday? I'd like to know what happens when you wake up in the morning to when you go to sleep at night in a perfect world.
Oh wow. All right. Um, in a perfect world, I wake up, I eat my breakfast, I get on the scale at the arena and I'm like 145. It's not gonna happen, but I have a great warm up. I'm hitting hard. I'm hitting nasty takedowns. They call my name. My walkout song that I haven't picked yet is playing and getting me hyped up. I get in there. She gets in there. We lock eyes. We throw down. Hit her with the I don't know. Hit her with a bunch of punches. Take her down. Almost submit her. TKO her. Bam. Party.
I love the almost admit part. I like that little extra detail that you go for the
I know,
submission and
right?
end up getting via TKO. I love it. Last one from me. I'm obviously from England, in case you can't tell, and we're the home of English tea for breakfast. I
Oh,
know that you Americans obviously like your coffee, so I'm wondering what is in your mug. Is it tea or is it coffee? What does Angela Hill start her day with?
it's coffee. It's a little Nespresso shot. So I always say it's like pretend coffee until I could go out and get a real one. But it gets me started in the day.
I love it. I love it. Well, Angela, it was really, really great to catch up. I'm very much looking forward to your next fight on Saturday. Wish you the best of luck with fight week and obviously with Saturday night too.
Awesome. Thanks so much.